looking at this selection of tracks, and I have to say, and I'm not just saying it because you're on the show, but I really do love this album. There's a song I particularly love. I mean, they're all great, but the Garifuna Collective, The Black Catbird, which is, I don't know what it is about that song, but I really love that song. It's not a bird I've seen or even a bird I know too much about. This is a Mexican band. Where are the Garifuna?
They're from Belize, actually, and they're from the Garifuna Collective, which is, it's got a really fascinating history of, they were brought over, you know, as part of the slave trade, but they managed to keep their language and tradition, and it's very different. So it's across Belize and Honduras, and they speak Garifuna, and they have a really incredible musical history. And the Garifuna Collective is a group that brings together different Garifuna musicians, and they've released a bunch of albums. And our main point of contact from the Garifuna Collective, this is a nice birding link, Alobando. He is actually a keen birder, which we didn't realise before we invited them to the project, and it turns out that he is a member of the Audubon Society, and he goes birding with his son like every week. And when the group goes on tour, he makes the most and tries to force his bandmates to go and see birds with him. So everywhere they go, wherever they go, if they're in Canada or in France, he tries to convince his bandmates to go and tick off to do some birding when they're on tour. So yeah, there was a nice link, and he is now planning to go and see his bird with his son, to organise a trip to see the black catbird.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that's actually great, because I was going to ask you, but that kind of answers that question, if any of the artists involved in these projects have been kind of moved to go birding as a result of the work. Is there anybody else who maybe weren't bird lovers before, who have since kind of fallen in love with this world?
Yeah, I mean, I would say all of them to a certain extent. You know, all of the artists, it kind of woke something up in them, shall we say. I mean, I know Johnny, who is from Mexico. He was telling me that now every time he looks out the window and he sees birds, he wants to know what they are, and he starts looking, listening to the songs and trying to work out what they are. And Tamara, who's from Nicaragua, she was aware of the bird species, which is the Momoto carinado, but she wasn't aware of its plight. It's the national bird of Nicaragua. There's different motmots in Nicaragua. It's the national bird, and she wasn't aware of this particular subspecies, and she wasn't aware how endangered it was. And she's a biologist actually, and so this, for her, it really hit home. Again, she had a very personal connection with the bird, with the species, and yeah, so a lot of the artists connected in ways that they maybe didn't expect. And I think birds, do that in a way, because they're musical, because they have something that for some reason you can identify with as humans. They're so far away from us, but yet they're musical. The most musical animals. So yeah, the artists definitely connected, and it remains to be seen if they become like proper twitchers or not. But they're definitely listening more for sure.
It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.